Hey, how's it going? It's Coach Paul Serranos here. In this video, we're going to talk about Fitbit, wearable tracking device. I recommend Fitbit. There's Whoop, Garmin, Apple Watch. There's a ton of them. I recommend Fitbit, and I base all my programs around Fitbit. Doesn't mean you have to use Fitbit, but it's the one I use and recommend. It's cheap, it's reliable. I've been wearing the same one for 2.5 years. I'm going to give you a quick overview of what I track with Fitbit. So the first thing is steps. Number of steps in a day, I shoot for 8,000 minimum. Some days I do a lot more, but every day at least 8,000. Yesterday I was at like 3,000 at 6:30 p.m. So hopped on the treadmill, got it to 8,000, done. Second thing is heart rate. So when I'm training, I'm trying to get to zone 1 for recovery. This is 103 to 125 beats per minute. Zone 2 training is getting a little more in the aerobic zone. That's about 130 to 150 beats per minute, and then high intensity for me is usually over 155, 160 beats per minute. But it will track that real time, so while I'm training, I can see that I'm training at the correct intensity. And I have a target each week of how many minutes I spend in zone 2. That's usually 75 minutes, and generally I'm shooting for 150 to 200 minutes in the zone 1, and just maybe 5 to 10, if that, in the very high intensity stuff. It also tracks calorie burn or estimated calorie burn, because I don't fully trust these numbers, but it's still going to be based off of the number of steps, and heart rate, how long your heart rate is elevated. You can see fewer steps yesterday. I was under 3,000, and I'm averaging 38:45. So yesterday I had to drive into work, hour and a half in the car each way, and then sitting at a desk. Most days I'm standing at a desk all day. I'm walking around on the treadmill, walking after meals, doing a workout. Yesterday was an unusually low calorie burn day. And again, this is estimated calorie burn, because these things can never truly know exactly how many calories you burn. And then they track a thing called active zone minutes. This is just the number of minutes in zone 1, zone 2, but I set a target for that. It's another fun thing to track. So it basically just helps you stay active, and just helps you hit targets like the 8,000 steps per day and the sleep target. So it also tracks sleep, and this shows my resting heart rate. So this is based off of your resting heart rate, your heart rate while you're sleeping. I had a lot of drinks this weekend. Resting heart rate went up. This dashboard just shows kind of the sleep, tracking both the quantity or duration of sleep, what times you went to bed and woke up, and the quality of your sleep. We'll get into more of it on the app, because that's where you can use it. I rarely come into the computer and look at the dashboard, but just for the sake of the video, you can go on a computer and see it. This is the Fitbit I use. It's a Fitbit Inspire 2. And what I like, this is an older model, honestly. There's newer ones, but this one comes with a free 1-year trial. That's $10 a month, so that's $120 off. You can see I bought it November 10th, 2021. I like it because it's little. Like, I've tried taking it off, like see if I like not wearing it, and I honestly miss it just for having the clock, having a watch. And I normally don't like wearing watches, but this thing I've liked. But I get $70 and you get it for a full free year. If you go look at some of the other models, there's newer ones that have more capabilities. There's a Fitbit, there's an Inspire 3, no free trial, so you're paying $10 a month right out of the box. I think I saw one of them that comes with a free trial, but you see Whoop. Whoop's a little more expensive. Does a lot of the same stuff. Might be a little bit better, but doesn't have the face, which some people like and some people don't. But yeah, so a lot of different options, but I use the Fitbit Inspire 2. It's treated me right, and I also get a weekly report from Fitbit that tells me how many steps you had, your best day of steps, total steps, how it was compared to last week, your estimated calorie burn, how that compared to last week, zone minutes, your exercising, how many days of the week. Average sleep, worst week of sleep I've had in probably years. Part of it because I was traveling and staying up late and drinking a little bit, and just had another bad night. But yeah, this is the worst night ever, but I'm making up for it this week. I'm having a great week of sleep this week, and then resting heart rate and weight loss. So down 4 pounds last week. Let's jump into the app and look at it on the phone. So here's the Fitbit app. You can open it up, and I always open this up a lot of times first thing in the morning because I want to see my sleep. So a lot of times I'll go in here and look at sleep, And, my target is going to bed between 9:30 and 10:30 and waking up between 6 and 7. My son was excited this morning. It's his 5th birthday, so he woke us up before 6, but I still got an 83 sleep score, which is great. 45 beats per minute resting heart rate. You can click on it and see the graph. You can see that big spike is where I got up to go pee. So it's good that I really didn't get up to pee that much. So this was a good night's sleep, and I can scroll through other days and see the sleep score. Yesterday, 83, 84, 85, 90. So that's making up for the bad sleep in the weekend. Because here's the weekend: 5 hours of sleep, a score 67. 5 hours of sleep, a score 62. If I hit the week view, I can scroll through different weeks. I can look at the duration, the score. So if I flip through, you can see 82, 81, 78, 81. I'm usually, I'm trying to shoot for 85. So here's by month: 83, 79. But you can see not bad. And I think if I go back far enough, when I started, I was, 70s. So you can see I was starting off in the 70s. And so once I started tracking and really paying attention to this and getting a consistent bedtime and taping my mouth shut, not looking at screens before bed, kind of winding down, it's improved my sleep score, which is going to improve your ability to lose fat because you're going to be less hungry. You're going to have more energy during the day. You're going to recover better from workouts, build more muscle. So all around, quality sleep is a huge part of health and fitness. So wearing this device, honestly, probably helps sleep more than anything. It's probably the most important thing it does. I can click on steps up here and see how many steps I've had for the week. My goal is 8,000 per day minimum. So I look at a month view and just can see that I've hit that, and I've got high days, low days, and can look at the monthly average. So January, February, March, April, May. You can see I've been ramping up this year and getting more steps. Last year, I was 17,000, 16,000. This was a fat loss, an aggressive fat loss phase. So I really ramped up just the steps, walking. I wasn't doing a lot of running. And then I backed way off because I had a baby. Just kind of took it easy for a few months, and then I've been ramping it up since then. But definitely I look at it, see where I'm at during the day, try to get my steps in after every meal. So by the end of the day, I'm usually past 8,000 by dinner time, and I can walk more if I want to, but I don't have to. I like looking at these health metrics here. So I look at the trends. So you can see the breathing rate. This is overnight. And you can see that day I drank, my breathing rate was much higher because I was burning off that alcohol. My heart, HRV. I don't think Fitbit's the best for measuring HRV because it measures mine very low, which is unusual because my resting heart rate's very low. So I actually got a second device called the Morpheus. That's a chest strap that measures my HRV, and I'm usually in the 60s and 70s. So I don't really trust the data for Fitbit, but it does show, low HRV on days when I didn't get good sleep or I drank a lot. So every device probably measures HRV a little different. Skin temperature, what's the temperature in your bedroom? Did I sleep under the covers or not? That's going to change those. My device doesn't measure oxygen saturation. I don't really know if that matters. And then resting heart rate. As I lose weight and I do more conditioning and cardio, my resting heart rate lowers. It jumped up recently because I drank, but you can see a lot of times I'm below 50 beats per minute as a resting heart rate, which is really good. I track my weight in here just because that will factor into how it calculates my total daily energy expenditure. So the heavier you are, you're automatically going to burn more calories for the same amount of activity as if you were 20 pounds lighter. So I keep that updated in here. It's kind of cool that it shows the weekly average, which is what I do in my Google Sheet. But I can't export this data, I don't think. But I still put in there. Readiness score, this is okay. This basically just looks at how much activity you've had, your HRV score, and how good your sleep has been. So since I didn't do much activity at all the past 2 days, my readiness score is really high. And you can see back earlier in the week, it was very low when my sleep stunk. Active zone minutes. Again, this is when your heart rate, how long is your heart rate elevated? So if you hit time in zones, I can see moderate, which is 103 to 129 beats per minute. And vigorous, I actually can scroll down. Let me see here. If I go to heart rate, zone minutes here, I can scroll down and see. Yep, moderate, zone 1 is zone 1, 102 to 127 beats per minute. Vigorous is zone 2, 128 to 159. I'm usually shooting for about 75 minutes per week in that vigorous zone. And peak, I honestly don't hit peak very often. I have a hard time getting my heart rate that high. I'll get a few minutes per week, but usually I'm kind of trying to keep it around 130 beats per minute and just sustain that. You can sustain that for hours, honestly. But that's really going to help with health, energy levels. Yeah, more calorie burn too, but that's not the primary use for it. And then calorie burn here, again, I'm shooting for 3,500 per day, but I'm not like really pushing for that because that's a kind of a lagging thing. I just shoot for steps goal and shoot for sleep, and it's fun to track and try to go for like 5,000 calorie burn in a day. But I don't put a whole lot of weight into energy burned. Tracking calories in is more important than tracking calories out. I will say that much. And even tracking calories in, how much you eat, is hard to do. It takes a lot of diligence, measuring food, measuring everything you put in your mouth, and doing it for every meal for days and weeks. That's hard to do, and most people can't do it consistently or accurately enough. It's worth doing to learn, but the numbers don't always line up. So that's it for Fitbit. I also love that it has this coach feature. It's got tons of workouts in here. So much stuff you can do at home. Boxing, mindfulness practice, mobility, things to learn how to sleep, box breathing exercises. These will calm you down, relax from head to toe, stress relief, doing stuff at home, whether you're in a wheelchair. You can see men or women, kettlebell boot camp, flexibility. So you can pick by trainer, you can pick different brands, you can pick a strength workout, abs and core total. So this is a really great resource. I don't use these, but it's not like I'm against using these. I would totally do these if I was couldn't think of anything to do. And if you don't know what to do and you don't like the workouts that I've got in Trainerize, by all means, go into Fitbit. And for $10 a month, I mean, it's pretty awesome to have all that. And if you go down here into my profile, I love seeing these badges. And periodically you'll get congrats, you hit this badge, you hit a distance. So each of these is a different distance. You walked the length of Italy, you've walked the length of New Zealand, you've walked the length of the Great Barrier Reef, Japan, India, Nile River. I'm working on the Great Wall of China, and eventually I'm going to walk pole to pole. My watch doesn't track climb, so I don't get those stats, sadly. That'd be cool. I'm sure the higher end watches do, but mine doesn't. And then daily steps. If it hit boat shoe is 5,000 steps, I hit that every day. But you can see 5,000, 10,000, a lot less, 15,000, only 98 times. High tops is 20,000, so I've only hit that 25. Classics, 25,000 steps, only 7. And trail shoe, 30,000, that's the most I've gotten in a day. But look, they can go all the way up to 100,000 steps in a day, which would be insane. That's a lot of steps in a day. That's like 2 marathons, walking 2 marathons. Because about 2,000 steps is walking at 3 miles an hour is about a mile. And it takes, 20 minutes. And you'll burn somewhere between 70 and 100 calories. If you're 250 pounds, it's about 100 calories per mile when you walk, and about 170 calories per mile when you jog. But that's Fitbit in a nutshell. I think it's a great device, great app, great tool to just make fitness a game. And the whole Pac-Man games is based around data from your Fitbit and your scale and just you sticking to your habits. So this is part of the process. You do these things well, you'll see great results. If you focus on the results, you're not going to focus on the process, and you're not going to get great results. So just focus on the process, set goals, hit them, and you're going to do great things. But highly recommend you start wearing a tracking device and start using it, and I will see you in the next video.